Last week, we talked about the concept of using compassion and relationship empathy to really relate to your partner in a way where you're hearing things from their perspective and through their lens, rather than holding them to your own standard of whatever you think they should be doing. That ties in really well with the concept of emotional projection. Emotional projection, specifically in a relationship, although it can happen in lots of areas in life, is where you're sort of taking your feelings and your emotions and throwing them at your partner and basically making them responsible for how you're feeling. So an example could be that maybe you've had a horrible day at work or it's just been really stressful, and when you get home and you're finally in the same space with your significant other, you're nitpicking everything that they do. You've had a rough day, so now you want to make their day rough also. Or you're very critical, or you feel like you're taking your emotions out on them. These are examples of projection. It's where you're having a feeling, and instead of getting to the bottom of what you're feeling and really thinking through what you need to feel better, how could you, better relate to those around you, you kind of take it out on them. What's really interesting about relationships is that it's so common that the person we love the most and that we're the most intimately connected with is often the person that gets the brunt of our frustration, that gets all of the intensity that we've bottled up throughout the day. And that's not really fair to your significant other, but it's also not fair to you, and it's not fair to your relationship. You deserve to feel a full range of emotion. You deserve to express that emotion. And if you've had to bottle it up or stuff it down all day, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't have the ability to sort of let that emotion out, but you need to do it in a way that doesn't take it out on the other person or make them responsible for how you're feeling. Sometimes I'll have my clients schedule like 20 minutes when they come home from work, where they're going to use that 20 minutes to kind of vent about their day and get out any of the frustration as a way to be able to talk it out and to feel like they don't have to carry it around with them for the rest of the evening. And then after that 20-30 minutes has passed, if they find themselves going back into the negativity or wanting to spiral on it, they allow their partner to kind of call them on it, to say, hey, no, wait a minute, we vented earlier. Do you need more of that? Do you need to be able to let more, steam off the top? Or can we move on and try to enjoy our evening? Finding a balance for all of your emotions is really an underlying goal that I think everyone should have in a relationship. How can you manage your own stuff so that you don't throw it at your partner and then expect them to somehow pick up the slack or make you feel better or fix you or something like that? A true partnership involves making space for both of you to show up, share the full range of your emotion, but to also not, throw it at each other as emotional barbs or to somehow hold your partner responsible for how you're feeling. You can share those feelings, you can let them be sort of a supportive force in your life, and you can be that for them, but when it tips over into blaming them for how you're feeling or them blaming you for how they're feeling, that starts to become a form of emotional exploitation, where now, instead of having a balanced partnership, it's focused on keeping score, or you're happier than I am, or I'm happier than you are, or I had a worse day than you did, and that competition doesn't really do any good for anyone. It is okay to show up with your full range of emotion, and oftentimes anger is like a clue, or it's an idea that there's something beneath the anger that needs to be dealt with or dug into a little bit more. This does not say that anger is not valid, but it's often a secondary emotion that's letting us have a clue that there's something deeper beneath the surface that needs to be worked on. If you download my free relationship communication guide, I talk about the importance of scheduling time to actually talk with your partner so that you're not just springing it on them. And I also give some brainstorming ideas and some ways for you to start crafting conversations that are balanced so that both of you can show up with a voice. We're going to continue talking about relationship best practices and relationship communication, so make sure you tune back in next week for another installment.